Okay, welcome to another episode of the Savvy Accountant. In this episode, I'm sitting here with Amanda Gascoigne, and she's coming to us virtually via Skype. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
Good, thanks. Now, Amanda, you run wear a couple of different hats, don't you? Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, well, I have an accounting business, Gascoigne Consulting, which I started 15 years ago. So we're celebrating our 15th birthday in July.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And that was set up as a home-based business. To suit my lifestyle, I was about to start a family. So I started the business from home. Fortunately, my employer at the time let me do some contracting work until such time as I was able to develop that client base. So I probably worked for them about 6 months as a contractor, and which worked really well.
Okay, whereabouts are you based?
I'm based in Green Hills, which is not far from Newcastle, Maitland.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And you, apart from your accounting practice, you're working on publishing and moving into other areas outside of that. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so in the light of having more of a work-life balance and some different changes that happened within our accounting practice, I started a new business called the Biz Buddy, which I could impart a lot of my knowledge to budding entrepreneurs and businesses without actually having to do more face-to-face work and have to put on more staff and things like that.
Right. And what was there an inspiration that made you to go down that path? Was it something a life-changing experience?
Yeah, so about probably 18 months ago, I was at a bit of a quandary as to what direction the gas and consulting accounting practice was going to take. We had an optimal level of clients, some really good clients, and we were at that dilemma as to whether we had to employ more staff and continue to grow the business, or whether we would just leave things as they were and effectively close our books.
Right.
So we decided to do the closing of the books option because we'd spent a lot of time over the last couple of years getting that client mix right. So we'd managed to, some of the clients who didn't fit our ideal client base, we sort of asked them to go to another accounting practice.
In the nicest possible way, I'm sure.
Definitely, yes. It was very nice. We gave them plenty of time, so they had plenty of time to deal with their tax lodgements. But they were traditionally the sort of clients that always put their information in late, were late paying us and things like that. So it wasn't the best work for our employees as well.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't enjoy working on those sort of jobs. And so, so we effectively closed the books to allow us to better service the clients we had.
Right.
So when clients did phone, obviously we did still take clients on, but we had a firm policy that anyone with outstanding tax lodgements and tax debts, they actually didn't even get an appointment. So we sort of qualified them before they had meetings with us.
Fantastic. So tell us about is BizBuddy?
Yeah, the Biz Buddy. So we didn't want to turn people away without offering anything. So I came up with the concept about the Biz Buddy that I could write some books. And so if we were not able to service that client, we could say, well, look, at this stage we don't have the capacity to take on new clients, but look, we do have some books, a series of books that we can sell to you to help you get you on your way. So that was the idea about the books and the book series.
So, where is that series at the moment? Is that available at the moment, or
not available at the moment? But hopefully in the next couple of months, that whole concept has actually grown from the time that I did sort of decide to do the books, and a few things also changed within Gascoigne Consulting. So started writing the books, and then not long after that, my brother, who's 13 years younger than me, actually showed an interest in joining the practice.
Oh, okay.
So he ended up joining the practice as a partner.
Yeah.
So now we're at the situation where we are taking on clients again. So it's sort of the Biz Buddy project will evolve, and it has evolved over those last sort of 12 months, and so too has the Gascoigne Consulting accounting practice.
With the Biz Buddy, because it was such I guess a switch from the accounting practice, what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. What have you found is the most difficult thing about going down that path of putting together that series?
I guess it's just the time, but to be able to do that, I was on quite a few boards. So being an accountant, someone always wants a treasurer. So just before, so to be able to get this BizBuddy journey underway, I actually gave up the two large treasury roles that I did have. So I'm able to sort of do it out of hours and on weekends. It's sort of a bit of a hobby as well, it's a passion, but I can do that out of hours.
Yeah. And how have you broken the series up?
So the series is, the first book is called Help So You Think You Want to Start a Business. Mm-hmm. And it's written in such a way that it will appeal to both new businesses, the first book anyhow, and also accountants, because as an accountant, and especially as a sole practitioner, you find that you really want to help these clients going into business, but they haven't got the capacity to pay in a lot of instances. So it's a real situation, it is a quandary as to how much information you can provide those clients and at what cost, because, you can't really charge what you should be to actually deliver that advice.
So where would someone normally go, apart from this? That they have to go and find, say, business for dummies, or
So I guess there's lots of information out there. Some of it reputable, some not. Some people don't even go to reputable sources, and they might find information off friends who, that what they're telling, the advice they're telling them does suit their situation, but might not be applicable to the person who was asking for the advice. So what I'm finding in the books, the way I have written them, is that it will cover a lot off on the basics, so people can actually get good quality information all in one area instead of having to go to different parts of the internet or, buy multiple books. So it's really just a really basic understanding, and it's really also challenging them to work out whether a business is actually right for them, because I think that's another issue. We have clients coming to see us who are really excited about this new venture they're about to embark on, but they haven't really done enough research into it, and even whether they are actually suited to running a business. So I find they come to see us as accountants really enthusiastic, really eager, and unfortunately we may not be as enthusiastic when we have that appointment, because we send them away with lists of information they have to go and continue to research or to consider at least. And so it's not that they were really excited coming to see us and thought we were going to say, wow, what a great idea, it's going to work, but we don't have the information to even tell them it's going to work. So I find they leave a little bit disheartened. Mm-hmm. So
when you were looking at your existing practice and saying, well, we want to keep it at this size, we don't want to bring on new clients at the moment, and I want to do something else to build an income and those sorts of things, and have that work-life balance from home. What was the process that you had to go to work out that BizBuddy was going to be the thing that you were going to do? I mean, were there other things that you looked at the time? What was the...
No, I didn't. It was just sort of... I originally did some work, just, some profiling and working on, branding of Gascoigne Consulting, just to see, where the direction was going to be with that, whether I wanted to do more with that. And from actually doing a small course that I did, I actually realised that I did want to do something else, not just grow the business to have more staff and things like that. So that was the impetus to say, okay, that route isn't where I want to go, by employing a lot more staff, because that responsibility still stopped with myself. And so this was just something that I could do. It was a bit of fun. I'm a creative person, so that was something a little bit different. And so that idea was actually born from that. So it took a while to work out exactly what I wanted the BizBuddy to do. We looked at branding, colours. I've had a graphic designer, so we spent a lot of time getting the model right.
Right. Okay. Mm. So how did you source all that sort of thing? How did you source the graphic designer, and how did you know? And
yeah, well, the lady that I worked with about some of the branding, she actually put me on to a graphic designer, and from our design, we came up along with the concepts, the colours, what they all stood for. And so the BizBuddy logo is actually like two hands and a heart. So it's a little bit funky. It's a little bit different to your normal things that you expect from an accountant. And so that BizBuddy branding is all about, you're holding someone's hand, not, you're holding their hand, you're on that journey with them. It's, welcoming, encouraging, empowering them, and the colours and the logo. And
had you been through that process before with Gascoigne of going through and doing that branding stuff, or is that something new that?
It was probably something new. Yeah, we didn't sort of do that because Gascoigne Consulting was more like a personal brand. Where the BizBuddy, I didn't want it to be directly relating to myself, that I would be actually dealing one-on-one with clients. It's more of a universal concept that, is just, and I think, the books will actually work well for both accountants and business owners, because I'm really trying to bridge that gap. So, when the business person is actually reading the book to decide whether it is a business that they do want to pursue, there's checklist and get the information to get them thinking about whether it is for them. So they've done all that work before they come to the accountant. So the accountant can just provide really valuable information.
How are you going to go about publishing it? Have you got that far yet?
Yeah, so it will be a combination. I will have e-editions and print on demand. That's the way that I am intending on going at the moment. But I guess it just depends on what other opportunities present themselves.
You're going to put it up on Amazon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So a lot of people don't know that you can just you can get a freelancer and get it all ready for Amazon and get them to put it up, and there's some great sites out there. I don't know if you've been down that path of getting someone else to get it ready for Amazon for you or anything.
Yeah, well, I have been working with someone in that regard, and then there's a couple of other options that I'm exploring as well.
Okay, fantastic. So, what do you think the future is for accountancy practices over the next few years? What things do you think they need to be looking at? What changes are you seeing that you're going down this path? Are you seeing anything that you think, gee, that's going to change for a lot of businesses? They need to be doing more of this, less of that.
Yeah, I think technology is a big thing, and we as a practice have embraced technology for many years. So in probably 2009, we actually embraced the paperless office technology. So that was pretty big for a small sized firm at that point in time, but I could see the benefits of that.
Did you use an external service to do that, or did you do?
So we had, we did have an external provider to provide the software. That's Business Fitness, and they actually help with all the implementation. So all of our staff have, scanners on their desks. So when we actually do work, we scan straight in to the actual server. But it has so many advantages that, it allows us to work from home, which is great. It allows us to get information if we're at clients' offices. And it just saves a lot of space because we don't have folders. We don't have client folders at all.
Oh, okay. Was that difficult getting the practices in place to make that happen?
Yeah, I know. And I guess what we had to do is just, make a point in time that, okay, everything's going to go that way. So we actually employed someone to help come into our firm and help scan all of our old documents. So that was a really big job. A costly, exercise, but it's great that we've now got all that archive record at our fingertips.
Yeah. With the you're juggling essentially, I guess, a couple of brands. You've got Gascoigne, you've got BizBuddy. Do you have separate social media profiles for those brands?
Yes, I do. And so with Gascoigne Consulting, because our business has basically been word of mouth, so we didn't employ very much marketing at all. But with Ryan coming on board, because he's younger and his prospective client base is a lot younger, they would be looking for that sort of medium to be able to interact with us. So we've just set up a website and at the same time set up a Facebook page. So that's working quite well.
Are you doing it for both Gascoigne and for BizBuddy?
Yes, we are. So not terribly interactive at this point. It's probably only been 3 months for Gascoigne Consulting, but it's just enough to start. We're just trying to work out, what clients are happy to have on there. So it's a bit of a combination of reposting things from like MYOB, ATO, all those sorts of things, plus different content that we might put on about our client seminars or about, certain times of the year, FBT, that will actually, it's just a way of getting that information out there and pointing them to the right resources. So I guess from 1st of July, we'll have a more strategic plan from a social media point of view. So and I'll be responsible for the majority of that. So some of the things will be, they'll be both the same content for BizBuddy and for Gascoigne Consulting, but written slightly different. So the BizBuddy ones will be more generic, and then maybe they will point them into the direction, okay, you might need to consider this at a certain time of the year, and then the clients, the business can then take that concept to their accountant.
Right. Okay.
And then from the Gascoigne Consulting side, it will be more of a client accountant perspective.
And how do you find the task of trying to divide your time between those two things of updating both those profiles and those? Has that been a challenge? I
tend to do that. Again, that's sort of a little bit of, I enjoy doing those sorts of things. It's a bit of a passion. I sort of do that out of hours, and it's a bit of fun. I enjoy, if I'm reading something, and then I think, that would be great to put on the website or on, a blog on Facebook, I'll actually do that. So I sort of see that as it's a bit of a hobby, as sad as it sounds.
Are you doing any marketing externally for either of the brands yet?
No. And as I said, the 15 years in business, we've got around 1,200 accounting clients in Gascoigne Consulting. So that's individuals, SMEs and super funds. So we haven't had to do a terrible lot of advertising, and that suits us because from a word of mouth perspective, and because we are only a small to medium sized firm, that natural attrition and clients coming to us at just all different times of the year actually suits us better.
So, what do you think? Have you given any thoughts to BizBuddy yet? How you'll be promoting that when it's ready to go?
Yeah, so like with the BizBuddy, an example of sort of the book would be that, this is the sort of thing when a new client comes in, that if an accountant, so I'm thinking a distribution channel will be just via Facebook getting engagement on the social media, Australia-wide, but also working with accountants to be a distribution channel for that book. So let's say a client will come in that's looking at setting up that business, as they often will be disheartened because we might come across as negative. They come into their appointment thinking they're going to walk away with their ABN, be able to get that on the spot, and they can just sort of stop off at the bank on the way home and open that bank account. So that book will actually be very helpful, that if a client does come in and shows and expresses, an interest in starting a business, the accountant can actually say, look, we'll make an appointment for you for a fortnight's time, but in the meantime, take this book away with you, get some generic information, complete some of the checklists in it, and then come back and we'll have a meeting, and that meeting will be far more fruitful and rewarding for both parties. Yeah.
What's the price point of BizBuddy going to be?
About $30, around about the $29.95.
Yeah, right. Yeah. There's some Facebook has got some killer products out there. I'm not a Facebook shareholder, but they've got some killer products out there now for advertising, which I think would really suit something like your product. You can actually target small business owners directly in Australia now with Facebook advertising. It's cheap as chips. So you could probably get some sales for less than $1 on Facebook advertising now. It's quite amazing. How often do you update your Facebook profiles for?
Look, I probably only do 1 or 2 a week, and I know I should be doing more than that. And as I said, from 1st of July, that 12 months with Ryan being in the business, we've really got some great new initiatives within the accounting practice. So we've been doing seminars, and we're spending a lot of time, doing a little bit more with that. So then from 1st of July, we've got a lot of our systems in place. And so then hopefully that's the idea, that we'll actually ramp both sides of things up from a social media side as well.
So the seminars that you're doing, are they to the existing client base?
Yeah, just to existing clients, yeah. So we've had FBT, so that's, an issue that clients often don't think that it applies to small to medium-sized businesses, but it does. So we had just more of an information session for that. We had an MYB in the cloud seminar, which was very well received from our clients. They were the clients that are looking to swap over to the cloud technology.
My accountant doesn't do any of this.
Oh, we love it. We love it, and we really advocate it. And I think other accounting firms, they do need to embrace that technology and move with the times and actually get their clients on board.
But just that communication stuff that you're doing with your clients, I'm pretty sure my accountant doesn't do any of that. Yeah. I haven't heard about it anyway. So
the cloud has been really good for those clients. So we sort of started talking to them about 12, 18 months ago, and just to plant the seed, and said, look, just be listening to it. Listen to what your friends, your colleagues, are doing in that space. And then, once a lot of the bugs and things like that, are out of the programs, really consider changing over. So the seminar was fantastic, and we did have a lot of take up, and the clients that are using it are loving it.
So when you talk about the cloud specifically, are there certain products or services you're talking about?
Yes, the MYB, Account Right Live, Essentials. They're the sorts of things our clients are using.
Yeah, okay. Are they using anything like Google Docs or anything like that? Is anybody...
No.
It's a bit too far.
Not to my knowledge, yeah.
Bridge too far. So how often do you keep in contact with your clients, and how do you communicate with them? Like if you're going to do a seminar, do you plan those out throughout the year? Or
we do, yes. So we're planning on having a seminar every month. So we usually book a few in advance and tell clients what the topic's going to be covered, so that if they're interested in it, they can actually block it out of their diary, because it's really hard for business owners to take that time out of their busy days.
Yeah.
And we've been holding them during office hours. So you'll get clients that, will say they need it to be outside of hours, but then if we had them outside of hours, you get the people that, have other commitments, family and things like that. And we do really acknowledge that people should be spending time with their families outside of hours. So if it's important enough to them and to the types of clients we want to deal with, they'll make the time to come during the day if it's of interest to them.
Yeah. And do you just hold them at your office?
No, we hold them just at a local golf club.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so we just hire out. So it's all complimentary. There's no charge for our clients to come. And we just hire the auditorium function room for half a day, and just tea and coffee, and then it's just very relaxed and really open, that clients can talk to us, and it's a relaxed environment that we're trying to impart that knowledge in a really relaxed environment. So, and
you wouldn't necessarily see any business directly from that seminar itself, but it's more about keeping that contact and that.
No, but I think it's just that client engagement, and just being able to, to give them that extra knowledge that they can, make better decisions in their business.
Anything else that you've seen develop over the last, say, 12 months, or what you think is going to be happening over the next 12 months that you're following very closely, that you think other accountants should be?
I think there's some changes with the tax system, that potentially some of our individual clients, we may actually lose those clients to be able to do the taxes themselves. The ATO have, the last couple of weeks, they've really been advocating the use of some of their online services, their iPad, services on an iPad, things like that, mobile devices. So I think that can be a little bit of a threat to some accounting firms, but again, if you have that relationship with your clients, they probably will tend to, for the sake of a couple of $100s, they'll probably still come and see people like ourselves to get that advice.
Some people like to service their own cars,
Yeah, so I think it's probably something that accountants sort of do need to be on the forefront of relationship building and doing those sorts of things, because that will really encourage clients to stay with them.
Okay, so people should be looking out for BizBuddy when? When should we be looking in our bookshops?
So I'm hoping to have the launch in the next sort of 3 months. And that series of books, it's just not a couple of series. It's, I've got, probably a dozen on the drawing board. So it will actually, it's, help, I think I want to start a business, when they start a business, when they're looking at selling a business, buying a business, setting up super funds. It'll be like a whole range of resources that will help business owners and accountants.
So we should just hook up via the Facebook page?
Yeah, with the Facebook page, and obviously that business will be a little bit different, that I probably will do a little bit more marketing because I'm not actually dealing face-to-face with the clients, and it will be a broader spectrum that, clients all over Australia will be able to
now that's
have that book.
BizBuddy, BizBuddy.
That's it.
Facebook. All right, cool. All right, well, look out for that. Yeah, no, tell us about the Abundant Accountant program.
Okay, so when I was writing the books, and the marketing consultant that I was using, who set up the website, when we went through a lot of the conceptual ideas about the book and, a bit more about my business and sort of my background and what I had to offer, they said, look, there's more to just the books, so you should look at something else as well. So that's where I've written the Abundant Accountant program, which I'm planning on sort of providing that service to a small number of accountants, a year. So just working with a handful every year to really give them more of a work-life balance. So sort of I'm proud of the achievements that I've made over the last 15 years in practice. So as a business owner, as a mother, wife, lots of different hats that I've been wearing. It's good to then impart some of the things that I've actually experienced and the things that I've changed to have that better work-life balance.
Right. And how many accountants do you expect to be working with over the next 12 months?
So I'm sort of thinking maybe, like a handful, half a dozen, because it will be just, it's sort of, again, it's not going to be a main business, because the main business is actually Gascoigne Consulting, but it'll just be something that, some of the accountants that might like to be distributors of the book. What I'm seeing is that there are lots of younger accountants, such as my brother Ryan, who's coming to businesses, like, they're investing their time, their money, and they've got some great ideas and what aspirations they have for their business. But they're coming up with some roadblocks in that some of the older partners in the firm or older staff members are not wanting to embrace some of the changes that they're making. So they could be technology, they could be flexible work practices, incentive schemes, things like that. So instead of them having that resistance and then be disheartened by that whole experience, they can get someone like me to come in, have a look at their issues, and then all of us can sit down and, I can identify what the problems are and what the resistance factors are, and then sort of bring up some strategies that can help everyone achieve a better practice. So, and that's the idea of that. So it would only be like maybe I would meet with these clients a couple of times over, say, a 6-month period, but then have fortnightly phone calls, because I know they're busy as well, and it would just be more of that accountability, where you're going, what your action plan is, and things like that. So, so it's just a little bit different, just for the, there's a market for those sorts of.
And how do people find out about that? They just do they go onto the Gascoigne Accounting website?
Well, that'll be on the BizBuddy website as well.
Oh, okay.
And there are expressions of interest on that, but I will
So that's thebizbuddy.com. Is that right?
It. Yes.
Yeah, so thebizbuddy.com.
THEBIZ.
Yeah, so not okay. So that's all under the one.
Yes, that's just something extra that I think there may be some accountants that are out there and practices that do just want that little helping hand. So it's sort of something that if the opportunity arises, I'm happy to do that.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for your time, Amanda, and good luck with the launch of BizBuddy.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Jim.
Thanks.
Bye.